Hey folks, and welcome back to our coverage of the 2022 Jonesboro Open at this side of heaven in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's our final round here, and we're bringing you some MPO chase card coverage. Thanks so much for tuning in, and a special shout out to all of our Patreon supporters who help make this possible. Once again, I am Dustin Mouret, your esports commentator, now disc golf commentator, bringing you the action, and very excited to get underway because we have a fantastic card. Simon Lizotte, who got a scorcher of a 13 under to make the chase card, as well as Knut, Emerson Keith, and Joel Freeman. So certainly a great group. Just take a look at the standings. Calvin Heimberg, who we saw in the chase card yesterday, found the top position with Paul and Kevin Jones just behind him. Alden Harris continues to shoot well also in a tight grouping after that. Do a little bit of a bag check here. Obviously P2s for Simon on the putters. See some various, mid-ranges. Definitely likes to overstable stuff, but has a couple of beat-in FDs that you'll see. But I expect to see a lot of DD3s and cloud breakers out there as well. So maybe some PD2s for the headwinds. Take a look at Knut out of Norway throwing for Innova. Putts to Firefly, similar to Nate Sexton and a couple others. Typical mid-ranges that you'd expect. Same with just having the destroyers. We do see a DD in there. That's a little bit unique. Don't see too many people throwing those. Then Emerson Keith, of course, playing for Latitude. Comes in with that new Faith putter. Trusty Justice with a Bruins die on it will probably be in full focus at certain points. It's got those Explorers, Ballista Pros, and the Rive has become the new distance driver of choice for a lot of Trilogy players. Then for Joel Freeman, coming in from Innova as well, known for those Gators. I feel like that's kind of his main things, as well as the Chariot. Then has that Savant, which kind of sticks out, but also throws a lot of Destroyers and such as well, which is, of course, going to be very popular on some of these longer holes, especially in windy conditions. And so we're going to get to hole one. Our 470-foot par 3 with rolling hills and high winds has been a consistent theme as well. Certainly reachable, but tough in the conditions.
Teeing off first, Simon Lizotte.
And again, Simon Lizotte shooting that hot 13 under the previous day to get here. Had a late start to the season due to the birth of his son, but had a 35th place finish at Champions Cup, and last year had 4 top 15 finishes in the Pro Tour and a top 20 at Worlds and USDGC. So definitely a guy who, while known for his media presence, is still a very strong competitor. Puts a pretty good move on that disc, a little left, but makes some good progress. Again, very windy.
Second to tee, Knut van Håland.
And Knut, of course, coming over from Norway. Had a top 25 finish at Belton and Texas States. Over the last couple years, of course, had some really solid finishes in various A and B tier events in Norway and throughout Europe. Cool to see him stateside once more. And puts a pretty good move on this. Gets up there a good ways, but still outside the circle.
Third to tee, Emerson Keith.
And of course, Emerson's already had a pretty hot start to the year, coming top 5 at Champions Cup. Also had some 6th place finishes at Belton and Tallahassee, and had a top 10 at Texas States. Last year, he had multiple top 10 finishes and a win at Utah Open. Certainly a very solid all-around player. Certainly known for being able to blast these discs, but that's just getting a lot of turn. Makes a lot of forward progress, but it's going to be well to the right side of the fairway.
Rounding out the 3:33 p.m. tee time, Joel Freeman.
And Joel Freeman also coming into a good start this year, having won the Vintage Open. Had a top 3 at Waco and placed top 5 at Texas States. Had a 14th place finish at Champions Cup. Of course, last year he made some noise placing top 5 at Idlewild and USDGC, as well as various top 10 finishes on tour and a 21st at Worlds, so definitely a strong competitor. And this one's just getting dropped with a lot of turn. Going to be a very tricky scramble for Joel Freeman to get up for par. He's going to be underneath some branches here. Yeah, solid flick up shot there from Joel Freeman. Gets him near the bullseye. Should be able to tap in the par, no problem with that. And here we have Knut from out there in circle 2, quite far away. Floats it up there, and oh my goodness, what a putt from Knut. That was absolutely marvelous. He's way out there and in windy conditions, just spins it up there and drops it in on the right side. What a brilliant way to get your round started. Looked to be well out of position to threaten the birdie, but found it nonetheless. Now we see Simon way off here to the left. He too kind of gives it a little floaty spin bid, but will miss the chains, but settles down for par. Emerson gives it a soft run, but lays it up next to the pin for what should be a pretty easy par putt. As this played is our 5th most difficult hole on the day, playing 0.1 strokes over par. Only 7% of the field found the birdie. So Knut was among a small grouping of players who found the score to open their rounds. As you see the rest of the card tap in the pars. Now we get to hole 4, a 820-foot par 4. Really just need to get out into the open and set up this uphill climb on the approach, which is what makes this hole so difficult, especially with some lower hanging branches there kind of guarding the front of the hill. Definitely can make the approach tough, and you do have a pretty decent gap you have to hit off the tee on this right-hand side. Knut keeping it low. This is certainly the best way to attack this gap and get into a good position on the fairway. And that will do well. And we'll take a look at this from Knut. Just very smooth, very efficient. Kind of uses that pump that you see some players use with the arm early to set up his timing, and really just has some good efficiency there. Good accuracy to hit that line. Set up for his second shot. Now we're over to Simon. Goes for a little bit of a higher line to try to push a bit more distance. Looks like he finds the fairway nicely as well. Now stepping over to Emerson. Thought that might be a bit too inside, but does fight well. Gets out into the open. Gets a favorable roll as well, so well done. Everyone's so far doing great off the tee. We'll see if Joel can match. And yeah, takes that lower line. Great angle on the disc. Great ground action. And yeah, everyone on our card puts themselves in a pretty ideal position, honestly. Now, the ground is very muddy still from some heavy rains that took place a couple days prior to the tournament, so footing has been an issue at times for some players. And Simon just never really gets enough height on that disc. So we'll have to settle for par. This might be a little high from Joel. Yeah, it does get caught up in those branches. A good line, but the height just not quite there. See, Emerson got way up there. Has a good look at this. Looks solid from Emerson. Skips up there nicely. Really well done. Just finding that perfect height to climb the hill, but not challenge those overhanging branches, and that's really what you're looking for here. And once again, you can kind of see those muddy conditions on the grounds that Knut will be faced with. Man, just kind of rips it over to the right-hand side, but gets actually kind of a nice kick to center him, but still outside the circle by a good bit. Great chip up there from Simon to set up for par. Joel has a Bit of a gap to contend with here on this forehand approach to get up for his. Puts it between the trees, no problem. Little deep with that skip, but that is going to be perfect for par. And here's Knut outside circle 2. Tries his luck again after a brilliant long putt on hole 1. This one falls a bit short, but he'll get his par. And here's Emerson. Last hope for birdie and had the best look of the group. As this played as our 4th most difficult hole. And Emerson will find the change, joins the group of the 10% of the field that found the birdie on this hole, so what's not common. The rest of our card will look to collect the pars and keep their scorecards trending in the right direction. No problem there for Joel. And just drop-ins for our remaining 2 players. So things will remain tight in the race on the chase card. Just drop some bananas. Got to watch out for those. You can slip on them.
I'm Garrett Girthy. People know me as Double G. I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
Whether I'm at home or on the road, Double G craft jerky is the snack that I go for.
I've actually found myself eating Double G craft jerky on my long drives to the next tournament.
We all know Double G's got a big arm, but he's also got a big heart. Every bag of Double G jerky that you buy supports children's disc golf and goes to a great cause.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
And let's get back to it here on the 435-foot par 3. Feels like a slightly shorter hole 1. Very windy conditions yet again. Make this one trickier than what the fly-through might indicate. As Emerson now has the box. And oh no. That is looking like it's threatening the OB line on this left-hand side of the fairway. And I believe that is going to find it. Just a little early on that release and too much fade. That's going to sting. So you see Knut now take the box. Hangs it out wide right, getting a lot of turn on this disc, and it's really not fighting back. Going to be way out there, but obviously inbounds, no problem. Oh, early branch caught there from Simon. Forces a redirect to the left and keeps it short, but doesn't knock it left enough to challenge the OB, but just means a long up shot for par. This looks pretty solid out of Joel Freeman's hands if it can push forward enough. And yeah, that'll do. It's right near the bullseye, well into circle 1. Should have a great chance at birdie from there. So we see Simon up first, who was quite short off the tee. Just chipping up for par here. Flies in front of the face of the basket and settles on the back side of the circle. Has a tailwind putt from there, so that's actually ideal. Here's Emerson, I believe, trying to save par. It's at 2 meters off the barbed wire. Tries to give it a bid, but will not connect, so it looks like that will be bogey for Emerson. So Knut faced with yet another long putt. That one just off to the right, but settles down for par. Simon handles a tailwind putt, no problem. Connects for the 3. As Joel will now step up looking for birdie. Great shot off the tee. Let's see if he can collect the reward. Bit of a headwind putt. And that will do. Great connection there from Joel Freeman. So it will be the solo birdie on the card. As Emerson looks to salvage bogey, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and that will be the 4 carded there by Emerson Keith. Knocks him back down to even for the round. Still early days, though. Lots of room still. So Knut will find par. And we'll begin to move on here on our front 9. So we head to hole 4, the 660-foot par 4. Just looking to push one as forward as you can. Just navigate your way through the fairways. Now, this hole has been made a little bit more difficult with a new tee pad location this year, taking out the big hyzer off to the right-hand side. And you do want to be to that right-hand side of the fairway. The more left you are, the more cut off you are on the approach shot. So a left-to-right moving shot is certainly the goal. And that just kind of stays straight and starts to skip to the left. And that is going to give Joel Freeman a more challenging approach to the pin. You really kind of want to be to the right side of that stake you see out in the fairway. Makes it a much straighter shot to the basket. That's fine there from Knut. It's far back enough to where he should still have an open look down the right-hand side towards the pin. Simon again a little early and gets caught up short there by that tree. Not sure what kind of look he's going to have. Wow, and that is dangerous from Emerson Keith. Luckily avoids the tree, but still not in the ideal spot. This is what they're faced with. But still has an open look to the pin because they're far back enough. Just a longer shot. Simon will make some progress, but definitely not really ideal putting range by any means. Emerson's essentially in the same situation as Simon was. Very near him as far as his lie. Again, far back enough to not get cut off on that left-hand side of the fairway that you see. That looks pretty good on Emerson's hands. Oh, yeah. Well done from Emerson. Making the most out of that situation. Has a putt for birdie for sure. Yeah, and here's Knut, who certainly looked to be in the best position off the tee as far as angle goes. Just go straight at it. That looks great, as long as it doesn't get too much of a skip. Falls on that backhand side. There is OB there, but he is well short of it, so he'll be fine. And yeah, Joel Freeman, I think, had probably the toughest angle of the group, even though he got the most forward progress. Has to play more of a spike hyzer. But handled well nonetheless. Right near the bullseye. A little bit of a roll on the backside, but no problem. As we see, Simon gives it like a soft floaty bid, but settles inbounds for par. Oh, Knut. Tries to give it the run, but just catches the basket. Oh! So we're going to see Simon pick up the par. That was a tough cutout, I believe, there from Emerson, if I'm not mistaken. Looked like that slid out that left-hand side. Yeah, not in the basket, obviously. Joel, though, our last hope for birdie, will find the score. 2 under for the round now. Connecting a couple in a row, so starting to get that score going. So Knut comes up for par. Or bogey, rather. Maybe he did find that OB after all on the backside, so my apologies. We come back to a short break. So now head into hole 5, the 495-foot par 3. Of course, it is that risk-reward shot. Do you want to try to cross to the green for the birdie, or do you want to lay up short of the OB and just play for par? Of course, this is the day of the tournament where going for it is a lot more tempting as you're trying to make a move, but Joel Freeman wants none of it, just playing the spike hyzer out wide and playing for par. Or Simon's certainly got the arm to go for it, and he's definitely looking for it. Will it push forward enough? Yes. Really well done there from Simon. Well in circle one. It seemed like he didn't like it out the hand and was a bit concerned, but yeah, it was no problem. And we see Emerson also looking for it. And that is really well done from Emerson Keith. One of the more efficient throwers you'll see. Just so smooth, able to just generate so much power. Just really creates that whip. Great follow through and commitment. And yeah, Knut just looking for the layup spike hyzer alongside Joel. So we had 2 birdie chances and 2 pitch-ups for par. No one finds any OB penalties, so that's always good. Everyone got what they were looking for off the tee. Joel pitching up just fine inside circle 1, just outside that bullseye. Knut will look to do the same. Just kind of a jump putt approach shot. Yep, and that'll do. Drop in par there for Knut. Comes up as we see Emerson and Simon now look for their birdies, and both are pretty darn close, so should be able to find it. Both did well off the tee. Oh, high from Emerson on the top. Man, that is going to leave him very disappointed. It was right there in front of him off the tee. Did such good work to get there. Simon, though, will connect. And a good birdie, finding his first score of the round. And now it's just drop-ins for par from Joel and Knut. Same for Emerson there. And now on to hole 6, the 315-foot island hole. A lot of our right-handed players typically like to swing the forehand in, as it's just a little bit of a better way to control distance, and even a backhand player like Simon going to the forehand, but certainly the backhand option is there if you want it. Whatever you feel most comfortable with hitting the island, and this forehand looks great from Simon.
There you go.
Doesn't quite get the skip up, but sticks in the ground, and we'll have a look for birdie. And here we see Joel also going for that forehand out left. Just trying to swing it in and spike it on the green. Whoa. Oh, man, the wind got a hold of that one and just flipped it out left.
That was a perfect shot. I did not do anything.
Yeah, and it looked like tailwind, too, so I'm kind of surprised that didn't get some more fade and get put in. But, yeah, Joel, unfortunately, will be missing out here. See Emerson now looking to throw his forehand in. And that one's getting picked up, but is doing just fine. Does make it across. And in circle one. Let's see what Knut looks to do here. Our lone backhand on the card. Oh, Wynn messing with that. Is it going to skip in? No, that's going to be on the wrong side of the wall. So two of our players will be playing from a drop zone. Joel Freeman gets up there, no problem. Set up to at least get a bogey out of this. That's going to chip away at his score, though, unfortunately. Same here for Knut as he gives it a good backhand next to the pin. Here's Emerson for birdie. And that time he will connect. Not missing the chance this time around. We'll get it back to 1 under on the round. Simon looking for his second in a row and try to keep that score moving. And he will be good for it. So great work there from Simon and Emerson, finding the scores on this hole. Definitely played as one of the, I guess, easier holes, you could say. 12th in difficulty, 57% of the field finding the birdie. It is kind of one of those holes where you kind of either go OB and wind up bogeying the hole, or you score on it. I mean, there are obviously some instances where you will miss the putt, maybe, if you make it across and take the par, but more often than not, you're birdieing or bogeying as we come back after a break.
The crowd was so spectacular today. Just the energy from you all was just amazing.
I love you, Oregon.
And here we jump into our par 4, 675 feet here on hole 7. Another hole that received a new tee pad for Jonesboro Open this year. A little bit more back and to the right, a little bit more of a blind uphill shot on a wooden platform. The further right you are on the fairway, the more it is difficult to approach the guarded green, as we do see Simon go up this left-hand side, get some good skips to the left. And while I'm not sure what type of obstructions will be there, that will probably give you the most ideal angle to forehand into the green. Emerson looking to do the same thing here. Gets a little bit of turn out of this shot as it goes up the hill, but still gets the fade he needs at the end of the flight. And sticks right in front of one of the catch cams. Joel 2 going up this left-hand side. Similar result to our other card mates, with Knut now up last. He actually does take this right-hand side. I saw a couple of players doing this in previous rounds, but when you're on this right-hand side, it becomes a little bit tougher to approach the guarded green, as the opening to it is kind of more on the left-hand side. Otherwise, you're just kind of punching through the front when you're on this right-hand portion of the fairway. So you do see the spike hyzer coming out of Knut, trying to just stab his way through the trees. Not sure what kind of progress he made, to be honest. We'll have to see. Yeah, and here's kind of the more typical play. Gives you this forehand out left, but you still have to swing it pretty wide to get in. And yeah, this one gets hung up a bit outside the circle there on one of the last trees he had to get around. So unfortunate there for Joel. But still may have a chance to give something a bid. Yeah, and that just comes up a little bit short, but skips through. Gets some great ground action to get onto the putting green. Now here's Simon, who got the most forward progress and is off to the left-hand side as well for that forehand approach. And he really has the best look to do it. Yeah, that's perfect. Wide enough and should get the ground action. Actually a little deep, but still fine. Has a tailwind putt, so might have been for the better that he got on the backside. And yeah, Knut has a little bit of a window here. Gives it the step putt just a little low. So it will be a par for Knut. Joel looks like he's able to straddle out around here. He's just on the edge of circle one, on the whisker. Just outside. And sticks it in on the left side of the basket. Well done from Joel there. Certainly not the ideal spot to putt from, but got it done. And now here is Emerson. He is certainly there in striking range. Oh, and just wide left. He's just had a couple of putting woes. You think back to hole 5 where he had a great drive and hit high band, and now this here on hole 7. Hopefully he can clean it up, as we are going to see Simon Lizotte making good on his birdie. That's 3 in a row. It's the old gobbler. Guess I could have just said turkey, but I don't know. Sometimes I like to try something a little different. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take. As that will be a par yet again for Emerson Keith. As Knut drops in his par as well. And we step into hole 8, a 324-foot par 3. Just really about trying to get around this corner with the right distance control. Usually the forehand will be the option. Just got to swing it out wide and spike it in, but just got to get around that corner. A lot of the mistakes are being a little bit short and getting into this tree on the right-hand side. As Simon has the opposite issue, just going a little too wide and not really getting the flare back in. This is a good angle on the disc from Joel. And yeah, that's great. Gets well inside circle 1. Needs to push forward enough to get around. And it does not. This is going to be caught up on that tree line, but might still be able to punch something through. Always kind of left a chance once you're in there on what kind of look you're going to have, as we see Knut step up. And that looks great. Or no, it's short. I thought that looked on. But no, he's just going to have to likely pitch up for par. Does what he can. Has to really work for it to get near the pin. Yeah, Simon has a long putt ahead of him here for birdie. Tough in these windy conditions. Man, and it's just a bit short. Maybe thinking that the wind would pick the disc up, but just falls low. And yeah, you can see Emerson is got a challenging one ahead, having to really stretch out for this. But he gets it, makes it happen. Really well done, and you have to feel like that's going to help him out after a couple of missed chances. To strike that one is really well done. Gets him back on track. Great birdie there from Joel as he's starting to play recovery after that bogey on hole 6. As our card kind of follows the trend of the field, which is around 50% of MPO finding the birdie on this hole. As Simon and Knut will tap in the pars. And to wrap things up here on the front 9, we go to our 750-foot par 4. Definitely a long one. Really just have to try to make sure you get on the right angle to set up for your approach shot. Really kind of hugging that tree line towards the right-hand side kind of just sets up the straight shot in. Let's see what Joel has in store here. Need to get through this gap and get out into the open. It's really the biggest thing. And that was a little outside, but gets a decent redirection back to the center of the fairway. Not as much forward progress as he would have wanted, but still we'll have something. You kind of want to push that right-hand side, but you obviously don't want to get tangled up in it. Flexing forehand here from Emerson Keith, and that does get through. Yeah, and that puts him in a good position here. Gets that tree kick out, and other than maybe some branches he has to kind of run under, he should be fine. That's what he wanted. Simon playing the high hyzer line. He spikes into that left-hand side of the fairway, no problem. That's what he was playing for. Oh, just gets through. Thought that might be a bit inside, but it does get around and make some great progress. Really well done from Knut. Everyone out into the open. It's just Joel's a little bit shorter than he wanted to be. Kind of a blind approach here from Joel as he's trying to go around the backside. Just going to fall a tad bit short of the front side of the green. Simon trying to spike around. And it does fight through. Good shot there from Simon. We'll give him a look for birdie. And again, this is a shot that Emerson was playing for with forehand off the tee. This is a shot he felt confident with to approach the green, is playing this forehand over here. And yeah, that is going to do. I think it stayed on the front side of that tree, and if it did, he should have the putt. If not, might be obstructed and have a tougher time. Knut plays his hyzer in. Oh, flies over the catch cam. Not sure what he's going to have. And yeah, this is looking a bit grim. Just likely pitching up for par here. Commits, gives it a run, and falls just low. Trying to give us some fireworks here at the end of the front 9. See Joel here looking to try to take the long stab at it. Downhill. Puts it up there, tries to float it in, knowing that the tailwind would knock it down, but just didn't give it quite enough height. And yeah, Emerson still has a little bit of something here. And he will find it. A couple in a row. 3 out of the last 4 holes going his way. So starting to get something going here. Keeping him in contention towards the top end of the leaderboard. Simon also having that birdie putt look. Oh! a mixture of joy and pain. Simon's always kind of a happy-go-lucky character, but you know that those still hurt a little bit. Just bleeding through that right-hand side. Had just gotten off a turkey, takes a couple of pars, looking to score again, and not finding as Knut too will find par, and Joel will also be tapping in here, keeping his round so far at 3 under par, right next to Simon and Emerson. To take a look at our results, 3 of our players are 17 under par and tied for 5th place. Knut dropping down to 18th with his 1 over thus far on the front 9. And as far as the bigger picture, you got a race at the top, just 1 stroke separating Calvin, Paul, Kevin, and Gannon Burr. A lot of players at the 17 under mark as well for a top 5 spot. Thanks again so much for tuning into this coverage. We really appreciate it. Be sure to follow and subscribe, as we are going to be bringing you a lot of coverage for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, as we're going to do an MPO chase car coverage all year long. My name is Dustin Mouret, and again, I hope you're enjoying the commentary. If you want to follow me, you can. It's at Follow Dustin on Instagram and Dustin Disc on YouTube. Again, special shout out to all the Patreon supporters who help make this possible, and I'll catch you on the back 9.